che la sfortuna non è data dagli specchi incrinati, ma dai cervelli incrinati.
If you read the
There
book...
are mysterious parts in that book, but the only true mystery is that our very lives are governed by dead people.
The colors are aggressively unnatural, perhaps like stained glass, saturated yellow and deep cobalt blue, perhaps artificially limpid, glittering pale turquoise and green, and always red, rich and clear. The camera is nervous, restless. It swoops and glides, slinking along corridors, crouching at the bottom of staircases, perching on rooftops. It cranes up for dizzying high-angled panoramas, hunkers down to admire the tippy tops of buildings against the blue, blue sky. Unrestrained by strictly narrative concerns, the camera reflects no point of view save its own, and it creeps across the facade of a sharply angled building for a startling 2.5 minutes, or hovers over two girls in a Baroque swimming pool, their legs pale, floating like seaweed beneath the water's rippling surface. The imagery is bizarre, almost surreal. Juxtapositions are aggressively inappropriate. A light bulb glows until its glass skin is shattered by a straight razor, a puff of smoke, and then the darkness. A man's face is reflected in a pool of blood. A black-gloved hand manipulates a curious collection of fetishized objects. Children's toys, knives, bits of braided yarn. In a disorienting close-up, a young woman reaches into a shallow puddle where her keys have fallen, only to see her arm vanish into water up to the elbow. A woman's shiny red high heel in a boy's screaming mouth. The blue sky above, the white sand below. This was a quote from an article that I found called Broken Mirrors, Broken Minds, The Dark Dreams of Dario Argento. And though the writing of the quote is overly flowery, I just thought it did a good job of describing Argento's film style and the sort of tone you get from his films. Anyway, this is a short summary of his career, his style, and some films of his that I loved. Hopefully you don't mind the video format, my rusty editing. I just wanted to avoid stuttering in front of the class. Dario Argento is an Italian director, producer, and screenwriter, born on September 7th, 1940 in Rome, Italy. His career timeline is he was working since his first film in 1970 and is still making movies at 82 years old. His most recent is Dark Glasses, filmed and released in 2022. His father is a Sicilian film producer and executive, Salvatore Argento, 1914 to 1987, and his mother was a Brazilian photographer, Elsa Luxardo, 1915 to 2013. He was raised Catholic. When he was still a teenager, he started working as a film critic in a Roman newspaper called the Piazza Sera. Argento was a columnist. During this time, he also worked as a screenwriter, his most famous contributions as an early screenwriter for Bernardo Bertolucci, one of my favorites, and came up with part of the story for Once Upon a Time in the West, a spaghetti western, in 1968. Like the documentary Easy Rider Raging Bull described, a lot of directors in this new wave period who got their start by doing B-horror films used it as a way to practice their craft before they could do whatever they wanted, when they were hired and had more money. But Argento started with horror and kept with it. In Italy, he is referred to as the king of horror. A lot of his auteur style and techniques are used in his films to unnerve the viewer. And a fun fact about his later films, his main actor that he almost always worked with is his daughter, Asia Argento, who has been his creative partner since she started acting as a teenager. Suspiria, 1977, was the first film I saw that was directed by him. I was inspired to go look it up after I saw the remake of Suspiria in 2018. The remake is all dark tones and very realistic looking, the plot having a strong structure and characters, a backstory, which I really like in a film, but the original was much more interested in how the audience felt as they saw the story take place. I remember reading somewhere that watching Suspiria feels like a fever dream, which I couldn't agree with more. The plot follows an American girl named Susie who goes to Berlin to go to a dance school, only to find that it's run by witches. The clip I'm going to show you is the climax of the film, when Susie kills the witch and escapes the school as it falls apart. When you watch, you can see all the wild colors and disorienting feel as Susie runs away, sort of like how one would feel in a scary dream.
Who is it? Who's there? I've been expecting you. The American girl. I knew you'd come. You want to kill me? You want to kill Elena Marcus? You wanted to kill me. You wanted to kill me. What are you going to do now, huh? Now, huh? Now death is coming for you. You wanted to kill Elena Marcus. Hell is behind that door. You're going to meet death now. The living dead.
Anyway, that's it. That's my presentation video. And if any of you want to watch one of his films, the three I'd recommend are Suspiria, Inferno, and Deep Red. Bye!